Hey yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome into a brand new episode of the Review It Rob Show. Appreciate you coming over here to hang out with me on the movie realm of this here YouTube channel. On this week's episode, the movie we're going to be talking about is Disney's latest live action reimagining film. One of the biggest films of the year, and quite frankly, apparently one of the most controversial, if not the most controversial films of the year. That's right, we're going to be talking about Snow White. I'm going to give you my thoughts on this film. We're going to talk the movie. We're going to talk Rachel Zegler. We're going to talk Gal Gadot. We're going to talk those dwarves. We're going to talk all things about this movie, spoiler free, of course. And then, as usual, you get your news in the back end here. We got some horror stuff to talk about. We got some DC stuff to talk about. We might have some Power Ranger stuff to talk about. We're going to have a good old time on this here episode this week, man. So appreciate you again coming over here to hang out with me. If you can do me a favor, please hit that like, subscribe, share with your friends. Without further ado, you're here for the Disney. You're here for the Snow White talk. So let's go ahead and get into this, man. Snow White, there's your lovely poster. The film is rated PG for some peril, brief, rude humor, thematic elements, and violence. Runs in at 1 hour, 49 minutes, and is classified as a kids' family fantasy adventure drama film. Again, Disney's Snow White is a live action musical reimagining of the classic 1937 film, which is currently in theaters. Film stars Rachel Zegler as the title character and Gal Gadot as her stepmother, the evil queen. And we go from there. So, again, this movie has been much debated about. Seen all the reviews out there. I've heard all the talk leading up to the film and all that stuff. We've seen other things to do with it. So, we're just going to go into this movie and all that stuff. So, the film itself, man, is being, I think they didn't do a good job in the early stages of how they were going to market this movie. Lately, they've done a good job marketing it, but in early stages like D23, they tried to bill it as a completely different story. It seemed like they were getting rid of a lot of the elements from the classic film and they're making a brand new thing this time around and just scrapping the other one and all that stuff. It's how they kind of made it sound in the early stages and all that stuff. But the marketing has gone back to the live the classic story deal and all that stuff with the marketing lately and all that. So, um, I think that's the better idea here because this movie itself is very much I think a good adaptation of the classic story. Because if you've seen the Snow White classic story, or if you even know the parts of the classic Snow White story, those elements are in this movie. Like those things are there. The bits and pieces that you know and expect in a Snow White story are here, man. Like they bring all of that stuff over here for the most part. There are some things that, of course, are missing. Like for instance, someday my prince will come, stuff like that. That's gone. But they still got like the basic core elements of the Snow White story, the beats of the Snow White story that you're used to are here as well, which is with some changes. And they do this with their Disney live action films, where they do as much of the classic as possible, but they like to flesh out characters. They like to bring in a new way of doing it. And of course, reimagining of a story is what they're going for here. So that's what we get here. I mean, I remember back to Aladdin, the live action Aladdin film, where they gave Jasmine, played by the fantastic Naomi Scott, they gave Jasmine's character more of a fleshed out role. They gave her this new thing. They made her more of a stronger character. They had her as a standing up to the things that she's used to. She's standing out. She's breaking away from those things. She has that classic freaking awesome song Speechless and all that stuff. Like that stuff right there is what you're kind of getting here with Snow White as well. Again, you got your classic stuff that you're going to want from a Snow White story, but they're fleshing out the character. They're making her a stronger character, if you will, which is weird to say because she already has a certain strength to her of Snow White. I think that's kind of the problem that people have kind of missed out with the Snow White story. So Snow White, the character, at the heart of that character and what she really truly is her kindness. Her kindness is her main feature, her main strength is her kindness, her love for creatures, her going into the world fair, her trueness, all that stuff. Like that is her thing. That she's true, she's kind, she's loving. That's her strengths, and those strengths are well on display in this film, and all that stuff. What they're adding to her is this getting her to be a braver, more fearless character. Because if you know the story, you know that she's trapped by her evil freaking queen of a stepmother, and she is just stuck there. And she wants to break out of that. She wants to go in this new world. She's looking in search of her father. She wants to bring back the peace and love and kindness of her world and the way things were there with her when her parents were in charge instead of this now evil queen and all that stuff. So those are the things they've added to this character that work. They work very well. They make sense, and it just feels fleshed out and very well put together, very magical and very enchanting. Now, for me in Disney, like the last Disney film I saw in theaters was Moana 2. We're not counting Captain America. I know technically that's a Disney movie, but we're not Captain. We're not counting Captain America. Um, the last like Disney movie I saw was Moana 2, which was fine, but it didn't have that certain magical element or that you would expect with Disney films, right? Um, this movie from the start had that magical element to me, as somebody who's just now getting back into Disney, right? Like Disney for me, when I grew up, obviously loved Lizzie McGuire. I was watching the 101 Dalmatians cartoon on VHS, Toy Story, all that stuff was going on when I was growing up. Like I was into Disney for a while and then got out of it. Um, kind of went away from it, went to the theme park a little bit, had a theme park podcast called The Disnoids with my brother Tombstone Josh. Make sure you check out his stuff. He's got good stuff going on over there. And then after that show kind of just ended due to lack of interest in, what was going on with Disney and all that stuff, and just them making it very hard to go to their theme parks. Like I kind of fell out with Disney until like last year, in all honesty, until last year when during the Halloween Horror Nights trip, and quick plug, I do have a Halloween Horror Nights show on this channel here called Into the Fog. Give that a check out as well. But back to Disney. I go to Halloween Horror Nights every year, and last year I decided to throw in a Disney trip. I'm going to go to freaking Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party and all that stuff. And even though it was a torrential downpour the whole time I was there, because Florida's going to Florida, that magic, came back into me, right? And I felt the magic of being there again, and then went there again 2 times in 1 year at Disney last year. Went to Jollywood Nights with the before I mentioned my brother. We went there to Jollywood Nights. That was a magical element and all that stuff. So that magic was there, and that familiar feeling at Disney was back in me. So when I go into this movie and right from the start, man, with the freaking the trail up to the lead up to the castle and seeing the castle and all the fireworks popping off and all that stuff, like that felt magical, that felt enchanting and all that stuff. And then you go into the book opening and you got the creatures there and they're opening the book and they're now going to the story of Snow White and all that, like freaking perfect. Like that's enchanting, it's whimsical, it's what you want with this movie. So from that moment all the way to the end, I felt captivated by the film. I felt very good. I felt like I was in the magical world that Disney's supposed to be when you see their movies. I felt like I was very much watching a princess movie and very much watching a very well put together princess movie from start to finish and all that. So, with the story, I'm good with what they're doing. And let's talk Rachel Zegler here. Now, the internet has decided to hate this young woman because she's young and talented, from what I can tell. I've had no issue with her. She said things about the classic film, which are honestly true. I'm sorry, but they are honestly true. But, Gal Gadot was right there saying those things as well. But that's neither here nor there. We're in this movie realm now. And her, and even with the other reviews I've seen, including the negative reviews for this movie, every single one for the most part has talked and praised her performance because it is that freaking good. She captivates every time she's on screen. She looks fantastic in the Snow White get up. She's killing it in the role. We already knew that she's a fantastic singer, and she's just killing it and belting out every single song she comes. We know the new song "Waiting on a Wish," but all the other songs in this movie that she's part of, freaking fantastic, freaking incredible. Like she is embodying this role. She's an absolute princess in the role, and she's killing it in that role, man. So again, I know people don't like her. That's your choice. If you don't have to like her, you don't have to like any actor or actress you don't want to like, right? Like that's your choice. With that said, bullying never okay. Bullying is never okay. I don't care if it's internet bullying. I don't care if that's how the internet's. It's never okay. Is how I'm always going to stand on that aspect. But people saying she's not talented, ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. You see this movie, you see that she's talented. But before that, Frank Steven Spielberg, in this point in time in his career, cast her as a lead in his film. That tells you how talented she is. She is cast in the Hunger Games movie, absolutely killed it. Rave reviews for her in that movie. She just got done starring in a Broadway show that was sold out every single night. She's already been cast in another lead theater thing. She's talented. She's extremely talented again. Like her or not, stop the bullying towards her, but she is fantastic in the role. She kills it as Snow White. She embodies everything you'd want from that character, from the brave, true, fair, loving, kindness, all that stuff. On the other side of things here, we have Gal Gadot. And Gal, um, I try not to be rude on the show. So Gal Gadot, I've obviously dealt with her a good bit. I don't know her obviously, but DC is what I talk about on the show. I love DC stuff, and of course, she was our Wonder Woman for the Zack Snyder films and all that stuff. And then she's been in other movies here and there and all that, but which I'm drawing a blank on because I don't. I guess they're not memorable. but you mostly think about her as Snow White, or not Snow White, good lord, as Wonder Woman. And for the most part, like that first Wonder Woman film, I have Snow White on the brain. I almost said it again. That first Wonder Woman film is fantastic. I can't flaw anything there. Everything's good. Everything works out well. The second one, bit of a problem. Bit of a problem. Like I was trying to protect it when it came out. I was standing up for it because the DC guy, but I have not had any desire to see that movie ever again in my life, and I'll be fine if I don't. And you just think of those scenes with her in there, especially that scene where she's on the hood of the car talking to Pedro Pascal's character through the window. It's just so deadpanned when it shouldn't be. And then there's, of course, the scene that everybody brings up from the Justice League where she's like, Kal-El, no, like that. And I don't think I'm over exaggerating. I think that's how she actually says it. And it's like, I don't believe that English is her first language, so we can give her a little bit of leadway there. But that's kind of how she plays every role that she's in. And now her as the evil queen, the look is great. Like the look is really good in the film. They did a great job with the costume. Her performance is, eh, it's one of those things where there's parts and times where it's all right, but there's other times where it's like, what are we doing? And she's doing the whole freaking thing. And she's like, the mash, and I'm pulling this thing over here and all that stuff. And she's doing, um, I don't want to say, I guess it kind of fits. She's kind of doing Jim Carrey when Jim Carrey did the Riddler for Batman Forever, but we love Jim Carrey, right? And she's kind of doing that in this movie. And again, I don't dislike Gal. I don't think like I liked that first Wonder Woman movie a good bit. But anything else I've kind of seen her in, like Death of the Nile, she was in that, right? Like there's and she's in the Fast and Furious movies, but we don't count those because those movies are all trash. So those movies aren't known for their acting ability. Let's put it that way. Um, and all that. So I think when it comes to, the lower points of the movie, like she's unfortunately one of those, and she has a singing number, and I guess she can sing. I am brought back to him during the dark times of COVID, where they did that Imagine video, and people made a lot of fun over there. Like the songs are all right. Like I'm not gonna hate on her song all that much, but again, there's just it's not there, especially when you're paired up against someone like Rachel Zegler. You're not dynamic enough to to hang with her in that role. So it's a lot of. I saw this movie 2 days in a row. I watched it back to back. That's just how I am with her role, and it seems that way with a lot of people. They're not overly. While a lot of reviews have been very positive for Rachel, they have not been that way for Gal. And again, I don't want to be overly negative or anything like that, but I get it. I see it, and that's one of my lower aspects of the film itself. Now let's talk the dwarves. Good on Disney for one showing us this before we went into the movie, because that would have been a jarring thing to see as soon as the film started. So if you're not in the know here, the the seven dwarves in the film are all CGI, green screened. They have actors performing them, but they're all green screened in their CGI, all that stuff. Um, and that's not Disney being woke Disney or anything. That's a fault of Peter Dinklage, who was an actor that when they announced Snow White was happening, complained a lot about, oh my God, they're doing another Snow White movie. How dare they do this? It's over, so old and all that stuff. Why are we doing this? Blah, 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 blah. And he threw a fit about it and all that stuff. So Disney went another route. And I can't lie, it is jarring when you see them. It does take you out. It's unexpected while being expected because again, we did see them, but it does take you out a little bit. With that said, I got over that very quickly. Especially when you're watching this movie, you see all these creatures in the film and all that stuff, and they're interacting with things, and they're doing cute things and all that stuff. You're like, okay, like if we can suspend disbelief here for that, we can suspend disbelief here for the dwarves in the film, and they're freaking entertaining as all get out. They're killing it in the movie. They're killing it with their songs, "Heidi Ho" and all that stuff. Hi ho, hi Heidi Ho, freaking Home Improvement, dude. Hi ho, all that stuff. Um, Whistle While You Work was fantastic. Oh my god. They're great. They're entertaining as all get out. They deliver very well. Dopey has a freaking incredible story in this movie. Like Dopey is fantastic in this film. Um, they're all good. They're all good. Like the dwarves, you get used to. You get used to the dwarves. I know we would have preferred them to be actual little people cast in those roles, but again, take your problems and blame it all on Peter Dinklage. It's his fault. Now, with that said, there is a little person in this film playing one of the bandits that is around our love interest in the movie because there is a love story in this movie. Even though people act like there's not, there is a love story in the movie with a character by the name of Jonathan, and he is one of the lead bandits. I like to refer to him as Robin Hood. He's more of a Robin Hood character than a Prince Charming, which is fine. There is no Prince Charming in this movie, which again, good. We don't need it. So Jonathan is our love interest character that we run into during the film. Played great. I don't remember the actor's name off the top of my head, but he does a great job. He's entertaining. He's suave. He's charming and all that stuff. Punny, if you will. You know, there's no Prince Charming and all that, but he does a great job. He delivers what he needs to, and he and Rachel play off of each other very well. They have a great song together in the movie. Like they work very great together. They had a good chemistry against each other, and I have no faults with him either. Like he was really good. Um, drawing a blank on. Oh, come on. I'm drawing a blank on one of the characters' name. The Huntsman. The Huntsman's great in this movie as well. Like again, and I don't want to be mean, but the only performance in this movie where you're going to be like, meh, is with Gal. Gal's going to be the only performance in here. And again, loved her as Wonder Woman in that first movie. But yeah, just probably not the best casting in the role. Again, she does an okay job at times, but it's not working. It doesn't work that well. But you have your big battles and all that stuff. And again, I saw this movie back to back. I saw it preview night, and then I saw it again on opening night, if you will, Friday night. And I absolutely loved both times watching this movie. I freaking was enthralled with it. Played the soundtrack over and over again. Like as soon as I left the theater, soundtrack on, right? And love the songs, man. And they're so well performed and they're so well, and the story is so freaking good. Like I loved this story. I can't sit here and deny it. Like this is easily my favorite live action film that they've put out. Like it is incredible from start to finish. Incredible is a bold word because again there is some issues I have with it, but for the most part it's very well put together. It's very well done. Our Snow White is exactly what she needs to be. Rachel Zegler plays it perfection. Um, a lot of characters in this movie are great. The story is fantastic. I teared up so much, especially in towards those ending times. If you know the Snow White story, you know what I'm talking about. But with the new stuff they added in here as well, like I freaking teared up, bawled like a baby. Like it's so well put together. I have no problem freaking admitting that when my 30-year-old behind my 30s. I'm in my 30s crying at a Disney movie in theaters, and I don't care because I heard people in the theater crying with me at those scenes as well, man. I heard those sniffles, I heard the laughs, I've heard the cheers, I saw the kids that were happy in the theater. Like I get it. I don't get it. In all honesty, the hate that this movie gets, it's beyond me. But again, I think it goes back to that marketing. Like they should have just marketed it as the Snow White live action film, and people should have just gone into it and be like, okay, cool. I see what you did, and I see what you changed, and we love it because it's so freaking good. It's so good. Again, I saw it 2 nights in a row, cried my freaking eyes out both nights. Even though I knew it was coming, I cried my eyes out both times because that's how freaking well put together this movie is. And I hope word of mouth gets out there for this film. I've seen. I don't rely on Rotten Tomatoes and stuff like that. I see movies because I want to see them, but the audience score is favorable. It's like 70 something. So the audience, for the most part, is enjoying it. Again, the majority of the reviews praise Rachel's performance. You should see her for that alone. She's fantastic. Um, It's good. Like, it's what a Disney movie should be. In all honesty, this is what a Disney movie should absolutely 100% be. Like, again, I think I've come down too hard on Gal's performance. Like, it's not overly terrible. There's just parts of it that are just not good. But I have no real faults with this movie. Like, I absolutely adore this film. I can't wait to see it again. Almost went and saw it again 3 days in a row. Almost saw it. Like, I'm clamoring to go see this movie again. Like, this week we have 2 to 3 new films coming out. A couple that I definitely do want to see, but if I can get another Snow White viewing in there, I'm gonna get another one in there because I absolutely love this movie. Again, favorite live action movie I've seen to this day, and oh my God, I can't talk it up enough. Snow the it's fantastic. So Snow White, please go see it. Like, if you made it through this much of the review, thank you first off, but go see Snow White. Like, don't wait around. Don't wait for it to hit Disney Plus or anything like that. Go to theaters and support it. Like, this is exactly what a Disney live action film should be. Like, it's got what the Disney films are supposed to be in it. It's freaking fantastic. I implore and encourage all of you to please go see Snow White. There you go. So that's my thoughts on the live action Snow White film. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into some news. Went a little bit longer on that review than I expected, but hey, what can you do? All right. Now let's see. We go from there. Let's stick to DC. Let's not go overly into the horror realm too much here. Actually, no, screw that. We're going with the biggest news of the week, as far as I'm concerned. We're going Power Rangers, baby. Power Rangers are on the way back, as Hasbro has announced that they'll be partnering with 20th Century Television for development on a live action Power Rangers show over there at Disney Plus, man. So this fits in with the Disney news we just talked about. The show is apparently going to be based on the original 90s show, The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Showrunners will be from the Percy Jackson and the Olympians team. Yeah. um, they are in negotiations to write, show, run, and produce the live action show for Disney Plus. Project is expected to, quote, reinvent the franchise for a whole new generation of fans while delighting those who already know and love the world of Power Rangers, man. And that's me, baby. I am one of those people that already loves and adores the Power Rangers, especially that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. You see it back there. I got that movie. I love that movie to death. I got me some toys back there. I got me some Funkos, all this stuff. Got Jason David Frank, rest in peace. Got his autograph on that White Ranger back there. Like, I love the Power Rangers and been waiting and hoping for Hasbro to do something with the Power Rangers since they've gotten them. Like, the last thing we've had was the 2017 film, which was enjoyable enough. Previously mentioned Naomi Scott, she's in that as well. Dacre Montgomery, fantastic actor, he's in it as well. But that movie had some issues. Like, that movie had some real serious issues, mostly to do with the Zords and the suits. But I'm so excited for a new Power Ranger show, dude. Like, I can't even begin to fully describe how excited I am for a new Power Ranger show. Like, that's my first superheroes, man. Like, that was the first thing I remember watching when I was a kid and just falling in love with and still love to this day. That freaking Power Ranger song is on my phone. Greatest theme song, one of the greatest theme songs of all time for television. Like, I just I'm so excited. I'm so excited for some new Power Rangers, man. Like, that's gonna be awesome. Like, that's gonna be a good time right there, man. I don't care who you cast to play the characters. I don't care. Give me. Like, give me. Disney Plus. Disney will do pretty good with this. I think they'll do a good job. I haven't seen that Percy Jackson show, but that show continues to get. I think it's like at a third or fourth season. So they're doing something right over there. And if they're doing a good job with Percy Jackson, who's to say they can't do a good job with Power Rangers, man? So I like it. And if it does well, and it should, give me some theme park representation of the Power Rangers. Dang it. That's what I want. That's what this guy wants. That's Power Rangers, man. Over in DC, Jason Momoa is talking some Lobo. He's doing press right now for Minecraft, which I think comes out not this week, but the week after. Don't know if I'm going to see it. Don't really care about Minecraft, but I do love Jack Black and Jason Momoa, so we'll see. The lady from Wednesday's in it as well, not Jenna. Emma Myers, who plays Enid on Wednesday. She's in that as well. So he's talking Lobo during some of that stuff, and he's asked the crew on the set of Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. It's coming out 2026. That's where he'll be performing Lobo. He's been asked the crew on there and everybody on there to call him Lobo and all that stuff. And he said he's about halfway done shooting his scenes. So I'm excited for that, man. Like, I liked his Aquaman, but he's gonna be freaking amazing as Lobo. He's got the look, he's got it down. He's been wanting to play Lobo from the beginning. He thought he was gonna be cast as Lobo back in the day. Like, he's gonna do a great job with that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's gonna freaking slaughter that role in the best way possible, and I can't wait to see it, man. So, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. 2026 next year. That's where you'll see Jason Momoa as Lobo. Millie Alcock is our Supergirl. And let's see, going from there, let's see, Superman. Let's go from Supergirl to Superman. Apparently, a rumored runtime has leaked or come out or been announced or not really announced for Superman, putting it at 2 hours and 20 minutes, which is kind of standard for superhero movies, it seems, this day and age. Um, but we don't know if that's the true runtime, as they have not officially announced that by any means. It could change here or there, but I think it's fine. Like, again, that's kind of a run of a mill time frame for any kind of superhero movie lately. It's kind of around 2 hours, 212, 220, 215, something like that. Something like that. So I think it's fine. If that's the amount of time you want to go there, cool. I'm excited for that movie. That movie has some serious competition for me to pass Snow White. I'll tell you that much. But that movie is a movie that I am highly anticipating coming later this year in July. Also got a Jurassic Park movie, Jurassic World movie coming out in July as well. So we got some big films left to come this year. But good luck to you, because Snow White's all I can think about. I've been thinking about that freaking movie since I saw it. Like, that's tough competition, man. I freaking love that movie. Holy crap. I love that movie. Let's see. And then let's go from there to horror and close this thing out. There is apparently a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre film in the works, another reboot of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm not the biggest fan of that franchise. A lot of people I know around me are not big fans of that franchise. I respect its history in horror. Don't come at me. I respect its history in horror. I understand why it's looked at with a passion or love, and I understand if it's your favorite character. I'm not here to tell you you're wrong for that. Um, but I just don't get into these movies, and they seem to remake them and reboot them constantly. And I don't know. Like, I don't know. Um, you have to do something with it to make it interesting, I guess, is where I'm going. Like, as that Netflix movie came out, like, they had some cool kills in it, but the story was so god awful and so bad. Like, it just did not work for me. But the kills were cool in the movie, so you give it like a pass, right? Because that's what we do with some horror movies. Like, the story wasn't all that good. But did you see how they killed that guy in that movie? Holy crap, man. That's kind of what you run into with some of these horror movies, especially slasher films. And I don't know. But apparently, possibly, maybe, Hollywood's It Boy, Glenn Powell, could be starring in this movie. Glenn Powell, if you don't know, this is the guy that is. It kind of makes sense now that I think about it, because he's pretty much acts like Matthew McConaughey, right? He's probably the actor you would most compare him to is Matthew McConaughey. And Matthew McConaughey was in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, so why not? You know what? Why not? But he was in Top Gun, and Top Gun Maverick was extremely successful, so he's been pulled into other films. He did that movie with the Sweens, Sydney Sweeney. He did a Netflix movie. He did Twisters. I think he's doing what's the Running Man? I don't know. It's the Running Man. I don't know. He's doing something right now, but I don't really dislike him. I think he's entertaining enough. Um, I don't care. I mean, what is he going to fight? Is he going to fight? Is he going to fight Leatherface? Who knows? Is he going to be Leatherface? That's how you pull the swerve right there. Glenn Powell, put him behind the mask, man. Why not? Who says no? Who says no? everybody who wants to make money on the movie because you got to show the face, I guess. But we'll see what happens there, man. It's obviously gonna happen because Lord knows, Lord knows, death taxes and Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboots are gonna happen. So that can't all be Chucky. Can't keep going. You know, you got to keep rebooting, I guess. Who knows? But that's neither here nor there. But it is here and it is there. So we'll see what happens. But as for where we're at now, as I just make myself laugh because I'm enjoying life. All right, leave me alone. But that's gonna be it for this episode. So um, normally I'm like, let me know what you thought about the movie in the comments. But last time I talked about a Rachel Zegler film, some idiot came in the comments and had to badmouth her. So I don't want to hear it. Honestly, I don't want to hear it. Leave that girl alone. She's fantastic. She's a sweetheart. But let me know how you feel about Power Rangers, um, Lobo, Superman, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You can talk about those things, man. We can talk about those things in the comments. But that'll do it for this week's episode, man. So appreciate you all, as always, hanging out with me here on the Movie Realm of the show. Again, I do have the Halloween Horror Night show that's also on this channel. Do me a favor, hit that like, subscribe, help us grow. We're close to 100, man. I can't believe it. But appreciate you all. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this show. And I always like to remind you, man, that you matter. Like, I know the world sucks. It can be tough. Again, people are coming at this Rachel Zegler girl. Like, it's insane. And the internet does not help a lot of things. I understand that the internet's very hurtful. Just keep believing in yourself. Try to ignore those demons that are the internet. That's just the demons coming at you, is all that is. They're nameless, they're faceless. Don't worry about them. Focus on you, focus on the positive. Keep building yourself up, believing in yourself, and trusting in yourself, and love yourself. Like, you are capable of incredible, incredible things. Like, just trust that. Trust in yourself, put that faith in yourself, fight for those dreams, fight for those goals, keep charging forward because all of those things will work for you, man. You just got to believe in them and keep fighting because you matter, and that's all that matters. So thank you again for taking time to listen to the show. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, week, month, year. And as always, remember that happiness can be found even in the darkest of times. If one only remembers, turn on that light. Talk to you all next episode.